Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Another episode of America under COVID-19 projections. Okay, America under COVID-19 projections. So, in this episode, I'm going to talk about some projections that were made and some of my own projections. And let's see how they compare. And it's not going to look good. It's kind of grim. But I think we should all prepare ourselves for a reality check because I still think a lot of people are not taking this very serious, um, including including my wife who is under quarantine. But it just gives you a sense of how many people there are who are not taking this worldwide coronavirus pandemic. They're not taking it serious. They're not taking it serious. But maybe this, if you're watching this video, if you're just wondering about what's going on, maybe this will give you some idea of how severe it could get. So I'm here on COVID.bio, and I just want to just go over an overview. Okay, so this is worldwide 720,117 total cases that have been tested, all right, confirmed. There's probably 10 times that number, 7 million. We just haven't tested. There are mild or asymptomatic cases. 59,411 new cases today. This is getting very, very serious. 33,925 total deaths. 3,273 deaths just today. All right, so, and I'm just going to go over the chart here, and I'm going to give you a timeline here. Obviously, this started in China, and so this is the recording from China. All right, all this is just China. All the way up this whole thing is just China. And right about here, when it gets up to 40,000, you see a little dip right here. Well, I think that's because the Chinese were running out of tests. And all of a sudden, you see a big jump, and this is kind of when they've started counting people based on CT scans. So it went from all of a sudden 45 to 60,000, and then it just peters out around 80,000. So 80,000 right about here is when all of a sudden the Chinese government, the CCP, uh, Chinese Communist Party, the government of China has just decided victory over the coronavirus, and it's been at 80,000. Well, I think around this time, Italy started becoming an outbreak. Um, Shortly after, Spain, then you see the numbers creeping up. Eventually, it starts coming to America, the US. I mean, it just starts spreading all over the world by this time. And now you see the true impact of the numbers. I mean, South Korea was in there, Japan was kind of in there, but it's just started really taking off once it hit Italy. And now you're seeing the impact of the coronavirus, the novel coronavirus, COVID-19. What else is it called? SARS-CoV-2, the Wuhan flu, Chinese coronavirus, whatever you want to call it. Okay. Now we're seeing I think we're really seeing the true impact. So I could only imagine what really happened in China. I think it's really, really bad in China. All these things, all these outbreaks have something in common. All right. They all have something in common. If you look in China, it happened during the Lunar New Year or Spring Festival. A lot of people gathering. I could honestly say that it's probably really bad in China, despite the numbers that the Chinese government is putting out. Just because, the cities, every city in China seems to be like a New York to the 10th power. Every city in China, every major city anyway. So if you can imagine what's going on in New York right now, imagine that being in China in every major city, because they have like at least at least 10 million people in every moderate size city in China. So it's really bad. Now we're getting like real numbers, real projections, and we're seeing and America, like, just to give you an idea, let's just go to the United States. Uh, the states aren't even working anymore, but let's just go U.S. All right, America is now the leader in confirmed cases of the coronavirus, and so 140,000. I mean, it really didn't start picking up until like around March, as you see right here. Right, yeah, right around here. So let's just say I can't. The graph is so small. There's a death. There's a confirmed death and confirmed recovered. Let's just go to the confirmed cases here. Okay, so let's say around March 12th, it was at 2,000. It really started picking up. So from March 12th, and it's still March. We're only on March 28th. So 12, 28, that's 16 days. That's like literally a couple weeks. We've gone from 2,000 to 140. So if you could imagine this same kind of projection in China, it's more than 80,000 confirmed in China, just based on these numbers. Anyway, if I go to the state, seems like they can't do states anymore. They're not putting state numbers, probably because everyone is starting to leave whatever state they think it's really bad. Like New York's really bad, so probably a lot of people from New York are starting to like bug out and everything, and they're trying to go to the other places. So I think that's one reason why you're not seeing the state numbers. Probably, my guess. All this information may be driving the spread. The best thing people can do is just stay where you are, or be someplace where you want to be, and then just stay there. Stop spreading the virus. All right. Just, if you want to be with your loved ones in New York, stay in New York. All right. Just be where you want to be. I got a video coming out probably Tuesday talking about that. Um, there's no point in running, because eventually everyone's going to get the coronavirus or a vaccine for it, one or the other. And I'm going to talk about that at the end of the video. I got some projected numbers, and you may not like these numbers, but we got to talk about them. So anyways, let's go to some state numbers. So this site here does have state numbers. Let's just refresh it. All right, so let's do the yesterday and now. Shouldn't be too much of a difference. This is yesterday. This is now. Looks like California put in some numbers right now. So it's right now it is 10:14 p.m. March 29th, 2020. So I'm doing this later at night. I'll premiere this 9 in the morning. Let's just take a look at the numbers here, since they're not too much different from yesterday's numbers. They should be starting to update. But you're starting to see the New York, New Jersey, California. You're starting to see some numbers starting to increase. Yeah. Anyways, these are all going to be increasing. We're all on borrowed time. We are all on borrowed time, people. There's no point. There's no point in running. Just be where you want to be and shelter in place. Stay at home and be safe, whatever you want to call it. It's a lockdown, just self-isolation. Stop spreading the virus. Just let the virus pass over you, burn through, whatever it takes. So just self-isolate, shelter in place, but be where you want to be and just stay there. Stop moving around. Stop going outside. Stop being in a group. because every outbreak and every epicenter has something in common, which is large crowds or a large group of city, usually a major city, metropolitan city, um, large gatherings like, I don't know, St. Patrick's Day, Mardi Gras, Carnival, whatever. Just avoid large gatherings. Here in Houston, it was the Houston Rodeo. I can imagine some other places, whatever gathering that happened. So there you go. You got some numbers state by state. Gives you an idea. I mean, we could look at some more like the curve here. It's just going to go up. It's just going to go up. Everything's going to just go up. And um, the peak, there are some projections, which I will go over some projections, but let me just go over my own state here. This is the new Texas Health and Human uh, Texas Health and Human Services, Texas Department of State Health Services website. Kind of looks like the Johns Hopkins website. So here it is, and here's the map of Houston. And if you notice, where are the hotspots in major metropolitan cities, and not only that, but the roads that lead to them. If you look, Dallas, Austin, San Antonio, Houston. So if you go in this kind of like triangle right here, you'll see it. Some parts down here, major arteries of roads, El Paso, and then some parts here. That's, what is that? Lubbock, I think. Let me see here. Go in and zoom in. Lubbock right here. But if you look in here, if you follow the roads, that's where you're getting the infection. People are moving around. So just stop moving around. Stay at home. Be with your loved ones. Shelter in place, and protect yourself. These numbers are all going to increase. We're not going to escape this virus. The best thing we can do is slow it down. The best thing that anybody can hope for is, well, best thing you can hope for is not to get the virus, first of all. Second thing you can hope for is, if you do get the virus, it's very mild. Third thing you can hope for, okay, is a vaccine. But that's so, and I put that third because that is way out there, way out there. That is like 2 years, a year, year and a half, 2 years. It's way out there. Best case scenario is eventually, I think, if anything, we're going to get to herd immunity before we get a vaccine. That may be the case because this thing is spreading fast, very, very fast. All right, so let's take a look at some other things. This is BNO. This is the world cases. They also have state cases, but I'm looking at this because I'm looking at this death rate here. So this is the current death rate. It's changing as the numbers change, but I'm going to use that number to give you some idea of my own projections. Okay, so here's the thing. Okay, so if you look here, this is what I know. Maybe it's different. I'm going to base my numbers off of what I know so far. So if you look at the total test, now this may not be per person, this just may be a total test, but the total test versus the case reported is about 10%. Matter of fact, the governor of Texas, Greg Abbott, said that in a I guess live video press conference. So if we just take that number and we assume that if we tested everyone right now, that's right now, that it's 10%. So the people who get tested, there's 10% of those people are infected, and then even smaller numbers of that, I think maybe 1 or 2% go to an ICU bed or something for critical care. But that's just numbers that I'm hearing. But if I just took 10%, okay, so 10%, All right, just remember that. I got several numbers I'm going to throw at you. And then here, if we look at the total population or total cases and the death, and you'll get a death rate. So we take that number. So here's the thing. If I took, and let's just go to Google, and let's put population of America. There it is. What is the population of America? Population of America is 327.2 million. So let's just take 10% of that, which would be what? 3.27 million, I believe. That sounds right. No, that's 32 million. So 32 million. So 32 million people. Okay, so we take 32 million and let's say we times it by this death rate here. All right, that's at 10%, right? 10% of people being positive. All right, I'm just throwing some numbers out there, well, just to give you an idea, like to wake up. So let's do 32.72 million people, and we times that by the current death rate, which is right here, 1.81%. What are we going to get? We're going to get almost 500,000 people who are going to die. If you want the exact number, it's 592,232. So 592,232 people will die based on these numbers. Okay, and so that should be an eye opener. Like 500,000 people are going to die just in America. Okay, I'm rating it, just on this right here. So let's just, so remember, there's 327.2 million. 10% become infected. All right, just based on numbers that I'm getting, and then take that many people and times it by 1.81, and you're getting a little bit over 500,000, 592,232 people who will die from the coronavirus. All right. Now, here's the thing. You haven't reached herd immunity. Okay, this is just the first wave. There probably will be consecutive waves happening, and this will last years until we get a vaccine. So what is the calculation? All right, if we do an 80%, because you need 80% to get infected to get a herd immunity. All right, so if I took 327.2 million, right, people, this is 2008, it's probably more, times that by 80%, I'm going to get 261, right, 0.76 million people. All right, so if you think about that, so if we took 261.76 million people and we times that by the current death rate, 1.81%, that is 4 million. All right, 4.73 million people will die from this coronavirus. So 4.73 million people, by the time we're all finished with this, if this wave keeps going 1, 2, 3, 4, till at least America to get 80%. All right, 80%, so we can get a herd immunity. 261.76 million people would have to get infected. That's without a vaccine, okay? And then 4.73 million people would die based on this death rate right now. Okay. Okay. And it gets even worse than that because it really, if you took the total case divided by, or the total death divided by the total case, it actually comes out to 4% if you average the world. But I'm just basing it off of this number right now in America. I think this number, I don't know, if you average everything out, it's actually 4%. So really, it's it's possible. Okay, it is possible to get more than this. It's possible. It's possible to get more than this in the um, very high numbers, actually. Um, yeah, to get to 80% herd immunity. Anyways, I won't put that number up because that I think the numbers I already did is too frightening for some people. You know. Anyways, so let's talk about the first wave. Okay, so I'm going to talk about the first wave, and here is a COVID-19 projections by IHME. All right, IHME. You probably heard some health officials in the Trump task force mention IHME projections, COVID-19 projections, and so this is United States of America. And if you look here, 15 days until peak resource used on April 14th, which is right about here. This is all of America if you averaged everything out. All of America. So what is today? Today is March 29th. It's not even April yet. If you haven't already, if you don't know by now, I'm going to tell you that the stay at home self isolation has been extended to April 30th. So um, we're just getting started. We got a long way to go. We're all in the same boat. Okay. What I like about this is that you can actually pick your state. So let me see how Texas is doing. So this is the average of all of America. Let's go to Texas because that's where I will be, and I'm not going anywhere. Okay, 19 days until peak resource use on April 18th. So that's the peak it's going to supposedly hit and become, our it's going to resource use as in hospitals, beds available, but this is probably when most of the cases will start showing the peak, most likely, and that is April 18th. Not any better, but yeah, this is reality. So people, please stop going out. Stop if you have been remotely exposed in any way, shape, or form. Please quarantine yourself. The incubation time is about 14 days. You may be asymptomatic. You won't know you're sick and you could be spreading the virus. The best thing to do is just stay at home. Be someplace where you want to be and stay there. Most of you will probably not need to be hospitalized, but you don't want to infect people that might be hospitalized. All right. So please stay at home. Anyways, um, there you go. I'm going to leave it right here. You tell me. All right. You tell me. Um, well, leave a comment. Let me know what your situation is. Tell me your situation. Tell me what you think. I'm going to go back to United States of America. And there you go. Peak resource. April 14th. So on average, so expect a very, very, very rough month. Shelter in place. Um, Disinfect whatever you can. If you are remotely, any way, shape, or form exposed, okay, if one person in your building, even if you have like a billion-story tall building, if one person in that building is confirmed infected, You need to isolate yourself because you don't know, the virus is invisible. You can't see it. And you may be asymptomatic. Just isolate yourself for 14 days. All right. If you can't get to a test, all right, if you can't get to a test, and you probably can't because the lines are long, the best thing you can do is just quarantine yourself for 14 days. That's it. If it gets really bad, that's when you go to the hospital. And hopefully you won't have to. Hopefully you won't have to. Um, Out of everyone who's been tested, again, out of everyone who's been tested, all right, total test so far in Texas, 10%. And out of those 10%, there's about 1 or 2%, probably 2%, that actually go to the hospital for intensive care so far today. And out of those, unfortunately, some of those, unfortunately, pass away. Anyways, I'm going to conclude this episode. You all tell me what you think about this. Are my numbers wrong? Am I overblowing the situation? Anyways, please give me a thumbs up, like, and share this video. Until next time, everyone. Bye-bye.